Hey folks, I can't believe this is real, but I've got some incredibly good news and it couldn't come at a better time. Last Monday, a guideline changed with our company, and I can't believe this is real, but Diane in my office helped a family with a 545 credit score save nearly $6,000 a year. More importantly than that, they did this with a 545 credit score. They had tried banks, they had tried credit unions, hell, they had applied with us earlier in the year, and we couldn't help them. But when our guideline changed last Monday, it opened up an entire opportunity for a second chance, and it could be the one you've been looking for. Our borrower was a 43-year-old union worker. He worked in the construction business in Pennsylvania, and he found himself stressed to the max. He was over the limit. He was maxed out. Some of his credit cards had been charged off. He had loans with finance companies at 35% interest. He knew he could do better, but he needed someone to give him that second chance. We were able to show him how to use the equity in his home to reduce his monthly payments and get out of debt faster with cheaper monthly payments. He's going to save $489 a month. Now, I'm not saying everybody can do this, and I don't know how long this will even last, but right now we're able to help you at savewithconrad.com. We just did it last week for a fellow with a 545 credit score. And this is the part that blew my mind. I can't believe this is even real. He didn't even need an appraisal. No appraisal. It's fast and easy. And I know what you're thinking. Well, this has to be a subprime loan. It's not. It's with Fannie Mae. Well, this has to be at a crazy high interest rate. It's not. It's with Fannie Mae. Well, this has to be a balloon payment. It's not. It's with Fannie Mae. This is a fixed rate solution for people who really need a second chance. And if that defines you, go get a quick quote right now at savewithconrad.com. And did I mention no house payments for 2 months? If you haven't already, you don't have to make your December or your January payments. So don't worry about putting Christmas on a credit card. We're going to pay those credit cards off together today at savewithconrad.com. And come February 1st, you're going to have a cheaper monthly payment. But imagine if you got to take a Christmas vacation for all of your bills in the month of December and January. We've eliminated that holiday stress. Now you don't have to worry about making a New Year's resolution to save money. You did it right now. Go get a quote for yourself right now at savewithconrad.com or send me an email at conrad@savewithconrad.com. Tell me what your problems are and we'll find a solution together at savewithconrad.com. And as always, we don't have an application fee. There's no cost. There's no application fee. If we can't save you money, we won't waste your time. But what if you could make life a whole heck of a lot easier? That's what we're talking about. My buddy in Pennsylvania is saving $6,000 a year. Find out how much money you can save right now for free. But let me ask you this. What happens if you don't check out savewithconrad.com? Think about that, and let's start saving some money together at savewithconrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender.
savewithconrad.com.
Welcome to Something to Wrestle With. Bruce Prichard.
Well, you know.
That's not a rib.
No, yeah, but me.
There's no box of gimmicks.
Rumor and innuendo.
I don't deal in rumor and innuendo. And was he there? I was there.
Say something about
I don't give a shit.
Welcome to Something to Wrestle With.
Something to wrestle with.
Something to wrestle with. Bruce Prichard.
Been what, a week? I haven't seen you like a week. Brother, yeah.
A week?
Yeah, let's go, man. Shit, I'm ready this week. Let's go.
Bruce,
rock and roll, man.
It's been like almost a year.
Well, sometimes a week feels like a year because it's like you have the 7 days. It's kind of like the 12 months with 24 hours in the day, but half days in Perth is like before. But when you come back, you've already done that. Now it's afterwards and you're all caught up in the middle. Yeah.
Okay. Caught up in the middle.
Right. Caught up in the middle with you.
Man, I got to tell you, it makes sense if you don't think
Rock and
about
roll
it.
hoochie coo. Yeah.
Hey, I got to admit, I'm kind of surprised that you're back.
Back where? I'm never left. I'm right here.
Right.
You're there.
I mean,
You're there. You're there.
Yeah. buddy, I was here the whole time.
I'm here. I'm here.
I'm delighted you're here. I mean, I'm really excited that you're here, but like I normally do this show with John.
No, we do it with Dave.
Right. Dave Silva's our producer.
Yeah, Dave.
But like
he has to move around a lot. Keep moving. Moving targets are harder to hit.
He does. He's not actually hard to hit. But where does this leave John?
He's a big target because he's a big target.
He is a big target.
He's a big target. I ain't throwing stones. I'm a big target too.
Oh no. Listen,
you a big target?
I'm the biggest target of them all. But
big targets.
What are we gonna? Have you talked to? What about John? Have you talked to John? Does he know what's going on? Does he know you're back? Does John know you're back?
John Cena. No, dude.
I know
he's
John
gonna have
Cena's
his last
back.
match in Washington, D.C. on Saturday night's main event in December.
And if you want front row tickets, may I recommend savewithconrad.com.
Yeah.
This episode, all our episodes are brought to you by savewithconrad.com. But
yeah,
I'm talking about
I talk to John every time I see him, man. I love him.
I didn't think you could see him.
No, I can see him.
You can see him.
I can see him.
Well, I guess I'm asking about, I thought he was your friend, but I'm not so sure. John Layfield?
Oh my God. Yeah. John Layfield, living in Washington, D.C. now. Yeah. Bethesda, Maryland, or something like that. Yeah. He and his lovely wife. They're there. Yeah. They've been living in he's a Washington, D.C.ite. That's where he lives. He lives there.
But he's been living on this channel for like 11 months.
See if I can change the channel.
Okay. Well, Lord bless JBL wherever he is.
I'm trying to find him on here. You know, I seen him. He does the thing with Briscoe.
He does. Yes. Yeah, stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw, available anywhere you enjoy podcasts. One of the all-time great storytellers in Mr. Briscoe, and Lord, Mr. JBL just tries to keep up as best he can.
And one of the all-time worst.
Recommend the Jay Moore episode. Do we not?
I highly recommend it as well, but absolutely one of the worst podcasts you will ever listen to in your life. You need to listen to it because it is absolutely beyond entertaining in like the most perverse and obscene way in which you can actually watch a podcast, because you kind of have to watch it like, did he just? Yep, he did. Okay. Wow. Did he just say what? Yeah, it's great. And like, yeah, the JMR, man, go right to it. Go to about the 40-minute mark. And not that I know where it is or anything like that. And it's like one of the most entertaining pieces of business you will ever witness, man. Sometimes Jimmy Jam came along. Do you know that that's over 1 million views now? You know, we started that, a couple weeks ago to get people to download this and to go
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and we told them go to YouTube. We want to get it up to 1 million. And it hit 1 million.
Well.
Happy?
I mean, I think he's got to be walking around the halls of every major building in town.
He don't walk around anywhere anymore. He kind of he actually he don't even sound like doot 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 anymore. It's kind of like poot 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 ow ow ooh 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 ow ooh ooh. Almost like ow ooh ooh now instead of doot doot doot.
Ow ooh ooh.
Ow ooh ooh ow ow. My back, my free bird knees, out, my free bird shoulder, out, mother free bird shoulder, out, my goddamn free bird elbow, out, my free bird toe. Oh my God, somebody hurt my free bird toe. Help me, where's Jimmy Jam? Sometimes Jimmy Jam came along. Cause boom, boom, Terry Gordon is gone.
Boom, boom, Terry Gordon. My God.
Yeah, no, it was Michael B.S. Haynes.
Yep.
Jerry Boom Boom Gordon.
Jerry.
And Billy John Rogers.
Okay.
They were the Fantastic Firebirds. Yep.
Fantastic Firebirds.
Goddamn right.
All right.
Yeah, keep up with this shit. Things move fast around here.
Well, I'm sure in the coming weeks we'll have a new fantastic Firebird shirt available for sale here at Something to Wrestle. And Bruce, what do you think about that new shirt? I can't believe this is real, but we've already rolled it out. I guess we should announce right now because I know you've gotten your versions. It's just me, Bruce. Sponsored, and it feels just like it's just me.
Day one, it's just me, Bruce.
I love it, dude. How great is that?
You know, Oos. What you want to do, Oos? You know, shit, that's all good, Oos. Honorary Oos. I was Oos before Oos was cool.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce does come before the Oos. I mean, BR is really there.
Yeah.
Well, listen, boys and girls, we're excited to announce that Bruce Prichard is back at Something to Wrestle, and I, for one, am here for it. I know it's been a long 6 days since we hung out, and I'm looking forward to. You were telling us before we clicked record, you're not going away. You're here for the long haul. This is a weekly podcast again. Bruce is back every week. Yeah. Well, he never left, but
I never left.
Yes,
I never left, and I'm here. I'm here just weekly, just like always.
I love it.
No interruptions.
And
no
and
interruptions. No, commercial free. No, it won't be commercial free. Okay, easy, buddy. Connie, we got to keep the commercials rolling in there. Yeah,
I was about to throw the flag on that.
Yeah, it's free. Actually, it's free commercials. Is what we do.
We offer them to you free. There's no charge to the listener.
That's right. Not at all. We offer free commercials to you listeners out there. Now, advertisers, there is a small surcharge.
That is true. It is a small surcharge if you'd like to promote your product or service. Advertise.
Actually, it's not that small, but hey.
No, it's very reasonable. But for you listeners, not only do you get a free weekly show, but as an added bonus, you're going to get a little brother love action with free commercials at no additional charge.
Absolutely.
Did you see recently that the other brother love was sentenced to 4 years in prison?
I heard that. I have not done all of my due diligence research on that. 4 years.
4 years and 80 bottles of baby oil ago. Yeah, can you believe that that's real? Like the other brother love who tried to steal your gimmick.
Wait. He tried to be another brother love.
Copycat.
Did not succeed.
Yes.
He backed off pretty quick.
But with 4 years in prison, he may actually get a little bit of.
He might get a little brotherly love, but.
Yes. Well, thoughts and prayers, if that's even appropriate here. But hey, listen, a lot has changed in the 6 days since you and I have recorded. And I thought that we should just start with perhaps the biggest story of the year. Certainly something that you and I dreaded and didn't expect that we would ever have to see. And it was actually the most recent time I saw you. We lost Hulk Hogan. So I thought rather than let's just focus on the sad times, let's talk about some fun, happier times. When did you first remember hearing about Hulk Hogan? Because he was around before Hulkamania was running wild. Was it in the AWA or was it in Continental? Or when was Hulk Hogan first on your radar?
First time I ever saw him was, I believe, Memphis. It was either Memphis or Alabama, but I want to say it was Memphis. And, you know, he had this hair on his chest that he shaved. And it was kind of like pointy down towards the crotchal area. That's French for down there.
Got it.
And there was a point going down there and it came up and then it had big old things around his titties. So he had hairy titties. Not chocolate titties, hairy titties. So he had big old hairy titties. And then it came down and all stuff. So I found out later on what that was supposed to be. Do you know? Are you aware? Do you know what that was supposed to be?
I thought it was supposed to be like an atomic bomb cloud.
So that's what he was going for.
Okay.
All right, he wanted to be like, explosion
Yes.
and all this stuff, but because everybody knows atomic bomb, you get hairy titties.
Everybody
That's
knows
a
that.
fact. That
That's
is
how I
a
got mine.
fact.
How I got mine.
100% fact, fear, folks. You listen to this show, you are also going to be factual. There it is. Yes, it is. See, so that's supposed to look like an atomic bomb, and so like with the atomic bomb, it is factually known that you will grow hairy titties. But when actually having the opportunity to say, so Hulkster, what were you thinking with the hair and the bones? Brother, I was thinking, it's a cross between him and Macho Man talking here, but no, he was thinking atomic bomb, going for atomic bomb, but he goes, I don't know, brother. He goes, I just looked down, it looked like a big hairy pussy to me. And he left it.
All
So
right.
the atomic bomb just turned into a big hairy pussy.
And I'm sure when Hulkster was making
big hairy
he saw a lot of
turn
one of
into
those.
atomic bombs, but by God, this is what happened. Can we even say big hairy pussy on this show?
We just did, and I'm pretty excited about it. All right, y'all. Saturday, it's Survivor Series War Games from Petco Park in San Diego, and MyBookie has odds on every match. Want some action on John Cena defending his Intercontinental Championship against Dirty Dom? MyBookie's got you covered. Find out who is favored, the Vision or the team of Cody, CM Punk, the Usos, and Roman Reigns. Or maybe you want to lay something down on Stephanie or Nikki Bella, who are going to face off for the Women's World Championship. You see, at MyBookie, you're not just betting winners. You're betting on entrances, turns, shock wins, and getting paid when you read the story right. Sign up with the code WRESTLE50 and MyBookie will back you on your first deposit. $100 gets you $50 extra. $200 gets you a Benjamin. Now, what you do with it is up to you. Survivor Series is this weekend. Bet smart, cash in only at MyBookie.
All right.
Hey, I want to ask, when he's first on your radar, is that through the magazines? Because you said it was in Memphis or Alabama. How were you keeping up with those other territories back then?
Yeah, through magazines and things of that nature, you see who's where, what who's doing what, and what have you. And guy was impressive looking, so he looked good. And I want to say it was Sterling Golden.
Yes.
The first time that I saw him, and then he went to New York and became the Incredible Hulk, and then the Incredible Hulk Hogan. So,
would you have ever predicted? Like, I know that you were a super fan even as a young person, but I know that your heroes were the Funks. Dory and Terry were the guys.
Goddamn right.
And so when you saw Terry Bollea jacked with the long blonde hair and the crazy chest hair, clearly no one would have predicted they were going to be the biggest star in the business, but did he look like someone who could have been successful to you as a young fan? Did you think, oh, this guy's going to be somebody?
Yeah, because he made you stop and look.
Yeah.
So, you have the airport test in which you have somebody walk through an airport and they may not know who the hell they are, but people stop and look and stare and look at the person next to them and go, who's that? So you have the airport test. And then you also have, the magazine test, picture test. If you're going to stop and look in the magazine, go, who the hell is this? Oh my God, look at this son of a bitch. And you look at it and go, all right, that guy's going to be a star. Made me look. He made me look. He made me look, and he made me find out who he was. So, and then from there, it was due to him working in New York with Vince McMahon Sr., the size and just, he was Freddie Blassie. He looked like $1 million. It was New York. And here's this Greek god. They immediately program him with Andre the Giant. And Andre versus Hulk Hogan was an attraction all over the country. Watts brought it into the Superdome and had it on his cards. They did it out in LA. They did it San Francisco,
Stadium.
All over the place in Florida, Shea Stadium. That was an attraction. So Hulk, thanks to Andre, became known all over the country and worldwide, really, Japan,
That
because of
photo
his
right there's
size.
from Alabama. Can you believe
Yeah,
that?
that's
That was
crazy.
the Alabama belt that you see Hogan wearing there against
Yeah.
Andre.
Proudly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet home Alabama. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. You know who my new favorite personality, sports personality is?
Pat McAfee.
No,
Who's that?
Nick Saban.
Really?
Yes.
You came around on Nick Saban.
Nick Saban is an entertaining, crotchety,
Yes.
great. Oh my God, he's entertaining, man.
He is.
Now, you said McAfee first. I love Pat McAfee, and
Of course.
Pat McAfee is great just in general. But I think Pat McAfee has found the way to pull out that personality from Nick Saban.
Yes.
But Nick has gotten relaxed, man, and holy cow, he is entertaining as hell. I will watch for the duo of Pat McAfee and Nick Saban because Nick is he's got the credentials, and if he says it, by God, you better believe it.
Who is the wrestling equivalent of Nick Saban, where it's somebody who you knew them, you were familiar with them, but you didn't think that they could turn it on and be entertaining because they were so serious, so fastidious, so particular, and they could just flip a button and they kind of surprise you.
You know, that's a good one because you threw in the serious part and the never seeing them break, because I believe that when you look at people like Bobby Heenan and even Jesse, they were entertainers. They were possessed of a quick wit early on. And so you knew they would be good. And it's really, well, that's maybe Monsoon is going to be your closest thing
Okay.
to that, because he was just such a straight-laced, right down the middle guy that was highly entertaining when given the opportunity. So maybe Monsoon would fit the Nick Saban role.
That's an interesting comparison. Did you see Gorilla? There was a new book that just came out on Gorilla Monsoon. Have you had a chance to see that yet?
I have not.
Yeah, I'm anxious to crack it open. I've got it pre-ordered, and I guess my device just hasn't downloaded it yet because I know the book's out now. So check out Gorilla's new book. He didn't
They
write
make
it.
them in paper form where you get it and it's like it's a book.
Yeah, but then I'd have to carry it with me.
And then you got to read it.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that your new book?
When you need it, you gotta put your glasses on.
Just read us what's on the paper right there. Top line. Unfiltered. What does it say?
121.25 paid, 233 interest only, balance 55.
That's not nearly what I was hoping for. It sounds like you're reading my notes over here.
Yeah. See, well, let's see what this one says. I don't use these. These are journals.
Well,
Let's see.
Now listen, some of our
this is a book of my greatest ideas right here. See?
Are you fucking around? Oh, they're all blank. There we go. That's Bruce's last 51 weeks on something to wrestle with.
Yeah, they're right there. I log them all, Conrad.
Log them all.
Logged. I got them all logged right there.
I know this is silly. We're bouncing all over, but I'm just excited to be talking to you again. Are you keeping handwritten notes like you used to way back in the 80s and 90s? Are you still doing that now?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay. But it's not digital. You have to write it down on paper.
Yeah, if I don't write it down, it's very, very difficult for me to remember. Because when you write something down, you make the commitment to put pen to paper.
Yes.
And then you can oh, look at that. Look, my daughter left me a note on my
How old school is that?
Maybe I should read it.
You should read it. But I love that you still have that letterhead. Are you using that at the office too, or just at home?
Yeah. No, I have other letterhead there. I love you. Thanks for an amazing day yesterday. You're amazing. XOXO Mo, sweet baby girl, Amber Prichard. That's my sweet baby girl.
Wait, did she sign it, sweet baby girl?
Yeah.
Oh God, gag me.
Then hey me again. I love you. Oh, what a sweetie. Little baby girl.
I can't believe anybody loves you like that, Bruce.
My baby girl.
Of course. Roll Tide on that. Hey, let's get back to our topic, Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
We are eventually going to
Let's
talk
get
about him
back
a little
on
more.
topic, folks. We ain't been
Uh,
live for and every once in a while I'm going without my glasses so you don't have the glare and all that stuff, and so that it matches all of my other interviews and things like that. 21 minutes we've been going. Conrad, you got to get to the point.
I'm doing my best, bud. I'm
You're
doing my
beating
best.
around Hulk Hogan's hairy bushy titty hair. Pussy
Bushy titty
stuff.
hair. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to enter the room. Dick first. This episode, well, and all of our episodes, are brought to you by Blue Chew. Blue Chew's not just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. Like somebody gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership, Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. I tried Blue Chew, and now my hog has a zip code and voting rights. Guys, we're not just talking about performance. This is about your legacy or your third leg. Let's see. Give her group chat something to talk about. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Go discover your options right now at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use the promo code Wrestle at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head on over to bluechew.com for details and important safety information. And a big thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring today's podcast.
Yeah.
When did you first meet Hulk Hogan? Would it have been at the same
1987
Okay, when you went to work for Vince
in Buffalo, New York? Yeah,
okay,
sure did.
tell us about your first meeting with the Hulkster.
So I started in 87, in April of 87. My first TV was Worcester and then New Haven, and then the next TVs I think were Buffalo and Niagara Falls. So the very first one, we're walking around and all this shit, just kind of observing, and oh man, you can't believe your eyes, because we're coming from Texas and Mid-South, where the production in WWE was 100 times what it was there.
Right.
And we thought we were ahead of the curve. So it was upstate New York. Pretty sure it was Buffalo, may have been Niagara Falls, but I know it was that trip, upstate New York. And Vince had asked me, he says, hey, have you met Hulk? Have you talked to Hulk? Have you seen how we do our customized interviews? I said, no, I haven't. He says, well, make sure you go in one of the rooms today and make sure you introduce yourself to Hulk. Just by chance, I'm backstage. I'm going into the different rooms and I'm watching them do it. And it was Gene Okerlund standing there doing interviews with Hulk and for the customized towns. And there was another one that was Billy Red Lions. Billy Red Lions was doing stuff for Canada, and he was doing that there as well. But I went in with Hulk, and he finished a take with Gene and saw me there, because I just snuck in. I'm standing in the background and didn't know who the hell I was. And he came over and introduced himself. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I was going to introduce myself, but that was it, man. He goes, hey, how you doing, man? I'm Terry. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm Bruce. Or actually, I said, I'm Mr. Love. No. And that was it. So it was early on, man. It would have been like April, May of 1987.
Had you seen WrestleMania 3 at that point?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can you put into proper context? Because I know when that event was happening, you were not yet working for the WWF. But for fans who weren't alive to see the pandemonium and the attention and just the way it shifted the landscape in the last days of the territories, can you give us some context about the significance of WrestleMania 3 as an outsider, not someone who works for the company, but how it was viewed and received by everyone else in wrestling?
Well, WrestleMania 3 was a milestone because it was the first time, I think, that your general audience, and when I say your general audience, those that weren't weekly fans tuning in to every single thing you did, these were folks that didn't necessarily watch wrestling, but they saw WrestleMania 3, they saw Hulk Hogan slam the 7-foot giant, and they saw 93,000 people in the Pontiac Silverdome. So it was a record-breaking moment. It was a historical moment, and it was a larger than life moment to see that many people and to see this climactic build of the two biggest stars in the industry at that time of Hulk versus Andre. So it was huge. It was huge outside of the business because wrestling had set an indoor attendance record. And people found that absolutely amazing, and it was very intriguing because they didn't get it. And then, for those of us in the business, wrestling had set the indoor attendance record. So you're very proud of that. And the naysayers, if you will, that would always complain, Hulk can't wrestle, he can't do this, he can't do that. You had to take notice. You had to go, okay, the guy can't go out and have your classic catch as catch can amateur style wrestler may not know wrist lock from a wrist watch. But you know what? He could put 93 asses in seats, 93,000 asses in seats. So that's impressive. And again, I've said this before on the show. It was Hulk Hogan who I had the discussion with one day about, hey, who's the best worker in the business? A lot of people, and I said to him, a lot of people would argue, Flair is the best worker in the business. And a lot of people, say, well, you're not the worker. And he says, me? No. He goes, you want to know who the best worker in the business is? Vince is, because he makes the most money. Me? I'm second best. And I love that analogy because that was true. It was, all right, well, who really is the best worker? Best worker is the guy that can draw the most people and make the most money. And that's what the business is measured on. So any other measurement is irrelevant. What's relevant is how many people you can draw and how many people you can draw to pay money to come and see you. So that was Hulk Hogan. And so for inside the business, you looked at him and saw him as, here's the golden goose. When we went up for the first set of tapings, I'm going back to Worcester now, Hulk main evented that show. I think he worked with One Man Gang or something, or Killer Khan, I don't remember which, but Nelson Swegler, who was the producer at the time, told Joe Watson, I says, oh, come on out here, and listen to this. You'll never see, bet you've never seen anything like this before. And Hulk came out to an ear-shattering roar, an ear-shattering pop, man. We joke about the Road Warrior pop. Well, Hulk Hogan pop, would kill that Road Warrior pop every day of the week. And it's just what it was. Man, the kids were there to see him. The parents were there to see him. He was the biggest megastar in the business. So I remember Joe looking at me and saying to Nelson, yeah, well, have you ever seen the Rock and Roll Express in the Tulsa Fairgrounds? And Rock and Roll Express did get great ovations everywhere they went. Shrieking teenage girls and just the crowd. I mean, amazing. Hulk was a megastar. Hulk, again, could blow that out of the water in a different way. And I'm not discounting Road Warriors. I'm not discounting Rock and Roll Express. It was just different, and it was a different level. There are levels to this shit. And Hulk was on a different level.
I think the match you're talking about, I just looked it up, was on Halloween night in Worcester, 1987. Hulk Hogan pins the One Man Gang.
No, it was in April. Yeah. No, this would have been in April.
Or April 23rd, 1987, 9,805 fans there. Believe it or not, that was a non-televised, never aired, right. But Missy Hyatt did Missy's Manor with Randy Savage and Elizabeth. Is that the same show?
Yeah.
Man, that's wild.
Who'd Hulk work with? Because it would have been a dark match. Does it say?
It doesn't say. I don't even see that he worked that night.
Yeah.
I believe you though.
Yeah. It was an advertised dark match.
Let's I do want to talk about Missy's Manor some other time, but we'll move on for now because we're trying to celebrate Hulk Hogan and we want to talk a little bit about him. And I'm curious more about your relationship. Like when you meet him, he's fresh off of the biggest event in wrestling history.
Yep.
He's now crossed over into the mainstream. He's been on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He's got Saturday morning cartoons. He's been on the late night TV shows. He's been on Saturday Night Live. Like he's got action figures. Things are rolling as big as they possibly could be. But you said he introduced himself to you as Terry. Did you get a chance to forge any sort of a relationship with the real life Terry? Like how often were you with him in that era? Was it just every 3 weeks at TV, or had he already bought a house in Connecticut and was spending time at the office in 87?
No, Hulk was spending his time between Tampa and North Stamford, where I live now. I live now roughly a mile from where he used to live in North Stamford. So he was splitting his time between Stamford, Northeast, and Tampa. But it was up to him. He'd spend most of his time in Tampa. But when he came up and if he would travel with us from time to time and things of that nature, we became friendly. And I, spent time in his house. I had, Thanksgiving dinner with his family. It was a friendship. He would come over to come hang out, just to get out of the house and get away from things. And he'd come to my apartment and we would sit and watch videos and do other assorted things and just chill out to get away from everything. So we became friends, and it was a lot more Terry in those days. Eventually, right. I think the Hulk Hogan consumed Terry eventually. And I think that it was very difficult to separate the two. I mean, up until the day that he passed, the night before, I had sent him a text. I sent it to Terry. And that's how we, it's funny. That's how we communicated. Sometimes I addressed him as Hulkster. Sometimes I addressed him as Terry. So it kind of depended upon what
the context was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're at a wrestling show, he's Hulk Hogan, but if you're just chatting with your buddy, he's Terry. Is that the divide?
It depends on what we're doing at the live event sometimes. Okay. If you're just sitting there BSing with him and all that stuff, he's
Terry.
He's Terry. When you're talking about, all right, Hulkster, this is what we're going to do tonight, then he's Hulk.
I got you. Did you grow up in the 80s or 90s? Do you and your friends still talk in movie quotes like it's your own secret language? Then, buddy, grab a drink and let's get ready to rewind. I'm talking about the hilarious podcast, Be Kind, Let's Rewind. Think of it as your weekly nostalgia fix for all things TV, movies, music, and video games from the greatest decades ever. Every Friday, the boys crack open a few cold ones and dive deep into the pop culture moments that made us who we are, with big laughs, bold opinions, and the occasional, did that really happen? Each week, they'll hit you with segments like Booze of the Week, Boring Ass Facts, Shit Stuck in My Head, and the very popular Norm Macdonald Clip of the Week. Because no one told the joke quite like Norm did. From Back to the Future to the 40-year-old virgin, from Tommy Boy to South Park and The Simpsons, Be Kind, Let's Rewind is your time machine to simpler days. Be sure to subscribe to their YouTube page at Be Kind, Let's Rewind, and you can engage with their show on Instagram, X, and Discord. I'm telling you, if you love 80s and 90s nostalgia, this is the show for you. Check it out. Be Kind, Let's Rewind. By the way, this ad was paid for by JBL. You said that he eventually, that the Hulk Hogan character consumed him. We're not here to do a hit piece on Hulk Hogan. We're celebrating the happy times, but I am curious. Do you remember what era that was? Would that be late 80s? Is that early 90s? Is it when he comes back in 2002? When do you think that was? When Hulk Hogan was here and Terry was hard to find?
I think for some people, that may have always been the case because they only dealt with him when he was on.
I see.
And if he were working, man, he was Hulk.
Yeah.
He had to think. We joke about it. He talks about himself in third person, or people that do that. We joke about that. When Hulk was working, he was Hulk. And that's who you had to deal with, and that's who he had to become. And he had to put on the Hulk Hogan hat if he was doing interview or whatever. He always was looking after that image of Hulk Hogan, and he was always looking at protecting that IP, protecting that character, so that he had that to fall back on, and sometimes would hide Terry from the public. You don't always want to give it all out there.
So you said that, he would come over to your apartment and you guys would watch videos and stuff. Are you saying you guys were watching like ninja movies that were straight to VHS? Or are you watching other territory tapes? Are you watching the WWF products? Like, what did you guys bond over socially? Like, hey, let's throw in a tape of blank.
General Hospital.
Come on, man.
I was trying. I don't know. Michael Hayes used to tape one of the soap operas. I think it was General Hospital.
You're fucking around.
Oh no, I'm not.
Michael Hayes.
Michael's a big soap opera guy.
You're lying.
Michael, he loves. No, I am not lying, Conrad.
I'm so excited. You've just made my day. I'm going to have the best afternoon ever texting him today. Just making fun.
Ask him which soap opera it is that he follows. That he what Days of Our Lives, or
Young and the Restless is probably it.
Is it? I don't know, but it's one that he really. I mean, he can tell you everything about it, and things like that. No, we would watch. So like we would watch old Mid-South tapes.
Okay.
We would watch other stuff. So it's just
trying to get ideas, trying to be creative.
Conrad, last night on the plane, traveling home, we watched the Boiler Room Brawl from SummerSlam. I mean, I just got finished. I just got finished doing 2 hours SmackDown, and we get on the plane and we watch more wrestling. So yeah, man, it's I love what I do, and we would just watch. He loved watching other shit.
I've been told. What's that?
See who's out there.
Oh yeah, I got you. So you're maybe scouting future opponents.
I mean, you're doing that in everything you do.
Right.
24 hours a day.
Sure.
So at that point, it's like when you're watching tape, you're watching it for the entertainment. And if somebody really entertains you and they're good, then all right, man, just chalk one up for that. Write that name down and see what we can do. So yeah, you're always working. You're always looking for talent. And Hogan was always looking for opponents.
Hypothetically speaking, I think that Jim Ross has talked about spending time with Gorilla Monsoon, and that those three would sometimes enjoy some quote unquote chocolate cake together. Would it be a stretch to imagine that as you and the Hulkster are watching some old tapes from territory matches, that maybe there may have been some chocolate cake there as well?
But are you saying that Hulk Hogan would put chocolate cake in his body?
No, but he might put a left-handed cigarette there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Has that always been synonymous with wrestling creative, do you think?
I think that it definitely helped the creative process. You know, when people, and for those of you that are wondering, God damn, chocolate cake, hell, I like chocolate cake. I should have done my nose hairs before I got on because they're tickling me. Folks, I was going to come on with like the two, the wax things in my nose and pull them out. Conrad said, no,
that's not true.
You did. You yucked my yum.
You said, oh, then I'd have to heat up the wax.
Yeah, it would
Let's
take too
just
long.
do it live. Let's do it live. Do it live. So yeah, I just feel like, you know, the creativity sometimes, the what if, you could get in that frame of mind a little faster, maybe. What if?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. It comes from, look, when people talk about the territories and they talk about getting in cars and riding to the next town, that's where you bonded. But you're coming off of a high. You're coming off of, you know, working that night, and you don't have the same 9 to 5 routine that most normal people had. Your routine was, you know, you didn't wake up hopefully until the early afternoon or whatever. So at night, you're coming off this great high of performing and the energy of the crowd and everything else, and you want to relax. And maybe you want a couple beers, maybe you want to smoke a joint, whatever that may be, to help bring you down and relax. And in coming down off of that creative high of performing, yeah, it helps loosen you up to start talking about other things. So yeah, we would sit back and we would enjoy some nice greenery,
Yep.
and talk about life, talk about ideas, talk about what we were doing with, with him. But he was always also talking about other guys. What are you doing with them? Okay, hey, what about this? And then sit there and put a tape on. Oh, who's that? What do you think? And it's just a camaraderie of relaxation. Some guys like to get high. Some guys like to take things to make them get higher, more excited. I couldn't do that. I wanted to come down. Hulk was the kind of guy, man. Hulk liked to relax and chill out, have a few beers and chill out. So that's what we did. And it did help in the creative process from the standpoint of just losing your inhibitions,
Right.
and not living in that box that you're sometimes put into.
I do want to ask, were you able to go out with your friend Hulk at the time? Like, could the real life Terry Bollea, could y'all go to dinner? Could you go to a bar, or was he such a star at that time that wasn't really possible? If y'all were going to hang, it had to be at somebody's house.
No, we could, and we did, but it was, for the most part, and especially up here where there was the restaurant up there. Oh God, I forget the name of it, and it's been 3 names since I've come back. But they knew him in there, so we could go in and just go back to the back. There's right off of Longridge here, and now it's a steakhouse that we used to go to relax and get away. Like if he was brother, hey, meet me at, and we would go there because we could go in, we could go to the bar, and we were kind of off to the side, and nobody really messed. They were used to seeing him. So he was not Hulk Hogan. It was, oh, hey, there's Hulk Hogan. And we would just kind of sit in the back and drink our beer and get some food and chill out.
All right. Going online without ExpressVPN is a little bit like forgetting to mute yourself on a Zoom meeting. Do you really want your coworkers to hear you trash talking them or flushing the toilet or whatever you may be doing? I'm telling you, I have fallen in love with ExpressVPN. I have to admit, years ago, I didn't even know what a freaking VPN is. But I want you to know that because all of your traffic flows through their servers, internet service providers, including your mobile network, they know every single website you visit, all of them. And in the US, ISPs are legally allowed to sell that information to advertisers. So if you've ever wondered, hey, wait a minute, why did I Google this? And then all of a sudden I started getting ads for it. Ta-da. It's not a mystery. It's that you need ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN will reroute 100% of your traffic through secure encrypted servers. So your ISP can't see your browsing history and they can't sell your information. And right now, I can't believe this is real. ExpressVPN has plans starting at just $3.49 a month. You heard me. That's like 12 cents a day. It's going to hide your IP address, and that makes it incredibly difficult for third parties to track your online activity. It's also very easy to use. You just fire up the app, click one button, bam, you're protected. Did I mention it works on all devices? Yes, it'll work on your desktop, but it'll also work on your laptop, your tablet, and your phone, so you can stay private on the go. They've even got a really cool optional dedicated IP service engineered with innovative zero knowledge design, meaning not even ExpressVPN can trace an IP address back to the user. They've got really cool plans, including the Identity Defender. It's a new suite of tools to get your data removed from the data brokers and alert you when your data appears on the dark web. You can even go ahead and get insurance against the data theft for up to $1 million. I want to mention, most of all, it's rated #1 by top tech reviewers like CNET and The Verge. You don't have to take my word for it. This is the real deal. I'm a big believer in ExpressVPN, and let me just say, as a wrestling fan, it can make things a whole heck of a lot cheaper and easier. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/wrestle. That's expressvpn.com/wrestle. That's expressvpn.com/wrestle to find out how you can get up to 4 extra months. Yeah, expressvpn.com/wrestle. So you're spending some time with him, socially. I assume you're also producing his segments because you guys forge a relationship. Does he request you, or has Vince already assigned you to him, or how does your professional relationship grow outside of just being social?
A lot of the things that Hulk did, that was Vince. Vince was very hands-on in Hulk's character and what Hulk did. But Hulk trusted me, and in talking to him and talking about things, he did gain a trust and would tell Vince that, yeah, hey, let Bruce do it. And once Hulk trusted me, and then Vince trusted me, and I could go and do those things. So a lot of that was also the trust in Hulk, that sometimes if you're working with somebody and they shit the bed, or you shit the bed, sometimes somebody's going to get buried there. Hulk was usually pretty quick to stand up for me and either take the heat and say, no, that was my call. And we just had a good relationship. But and it wasn't just me. Hulk was like that with everybody. He would step up and take the heat unless it was just absurd. And I told brother not to fucking do that. But we started, man, almost, yeah, I mean, almost off the top. And when I say off the top, I would say, starting November, December, when I really got into my groove and knew what I was going to be doing.
So now you're working together and things are going well. And you mentioned earlier that he lived at the time, or he had a home at the time, about a mile from where you are now. I know eventually he's going to move on from that place and go back to Tampa, but I'll admit, I didn't know that he ever owned a home in Connecticut until I did a show with Eric Bischoff in the wake of Terry's passing. And Eric dropped something on me I'd never heard before. And I want to ask if you remember that ever coming up. I guess the real life Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, was really hoping at some point Vince would have given him equity in the company. And that sort of blew me away because I never really imagined that would have even been a conversation. I didn't remember hearing that, but hearing that you guys were watching tapes together and he would ask you, hey, what are you doing with so-and-so? And he's coming up with ideas for other guys. Do you think that was maybe, obviously he wants to ensure as much success as he can, but was that part of the strategy of moving to Connecticut? Like, hey, maybe I can position myself to be a bigger part of this thing beyond just my role on camera. Did he have aspirations like that he shared with you?
It might have been initially. The reason that he moved to Connecticut was because he was doing so many things up here, especially in the early stages of the expansion. He and Vince worked together every day. They trained together, they worked together, and they were constantly coming up with new things to do. New York being the media epicenter, it was easier if you got Hulk Hogan right here for him to go do things in New York. So that was the original reason for Hulk moving up here and having a place up here so that he could be close to the machine. And I wouldn't surprise me a bit. And yes, I do believe that Hulk enjoyed being on the other side and wanting to have more control and be a part of. I don't know how serious those discussions ever got with Vince, but I do think that Vince probably saw that as well at some point in that relationship. I know Vince always saw Hulk as his Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And always wanted Hulk to be here and always wanted Hulk to be a part of the company and vice versa, to have the company be Hulk Hogan. So that was, it was a mutual, I think it was a mutual thing. I don't know how much and how serious any of those discussions ever really got.
It's an interesting what if, because had they worked that out where Hulk became, part owner of the WWF, he probably never leaves to go to WCW. The NWO was never really what it became. Like, I don't know that Ted Turner's WCW would have made it as long as it did without Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, look, man, a lot of people can argue a lot of different things, and I will argue and still stand by the Hulk leaving WWE was, man, that was a blow.
Yeah.
You can slice it and spin it any way you want to spin it, but that was a blow. And for him to go to WCW, initially it wasn't successful. Initially it was a flop. And it didn't work. And I think the reason that it didn't work was the same reason that it wasn't working in WWE when Hulk left. It was the same presentation. It was the same old, same old. The desire to turn Hulk heel and to have Hulk be the center point of your promotion in a different role and create something new, a new persona, was foreign in a lot of respects, man, because you had the golden goose in Hulk Hogan. You didn't want to lose that. And WCW with Hulk Hogan there, I don't think that he was ever accepted as a WCW guy. They always looked at Hulk as the WWE guy, and they always looked at Hulk as an outsider, my opinion. So when everybody talks about the NWO and the Monday Night Wars and 83 weeks and all that other crap, man, none of that happens without Hulk Hogan turning heel.
I agree.
And completely blowing up the red and yellow character that he had worn and made, and by God, ended with that. But you had to blow it up to bring it back. And the stronger the baby face, the stronger the heel, the stronger the heel, the stronger the baby face. So in Hulk's turning, now it was something new. It was like, oh my God, my guy from forever is now, oh my God, what's he doing? So that was intrigue. That was good storytelling. That was a deep character. That it was a character that they took, a rich character that they did not have the ability to build from babyface until they started building Sting in that vein. So they took the character that had been built and turned it upside down and built another layer, another richness to the character of Hulk Hogan with Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And I thought it was brilliant. I thought it worked great, and it gave people, another another reason to tune in and see what Hulk Hogan is doing right now. And he's Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Oh my God, I hate this guy. But you hated him and you loved him all at the same time. And that was the beauty of Hulk Hogan. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew, I'm going to be a heel and I'm going to be so damn cool, they're going to start loving me. Eventually they did.
All right, man, I got to tell you, this is maybe our best offer of the year from Stopbox USA, and it's just in time for the holidays, thinking about not just you, but that guy or gal in your life who owns a handgun for self-defense. But let me tell you, their storage likely fits into one of two pretty frustrating categories. It's either locked away, meaning it's safe, but it's out of reach in case of an emergency, or it's unsecured, which means you're leaving it vulnerable to anyone. Stopbox USA solved the problem and designed a groundbreaking solution. We call it the Stopbox Pro. And with the Stopbox Pro, you'll never have to choose between security and readiness again. Its ingenious push-button locking system gives you fast, reliable access when every second matters, without the hassle of keys or reliance on batteries. It's 100% mechanical, so it works every time, no power needed. And with the Stopbox USA, you can finally have both security and readiness. The Stopbox Pro's mechanical keyless system allows for fast, secure access without the risk of fumbling for keys when every second counts. It's also battery free, so you never have to worry about your lock not working. And with the holidays coming up, there's never been a better time to upgrade your home security or give the peace of mind to someone you care about. Whether it's for your own nightstand or for a loved one who takes safety seriously, the Stopbox Pro delivers the perfect balance of both protection and preparedness. All these products are made right here in their own facility here in the USA, and the Stopbox Pro is even TSA compliant. Stopbox actually has you hooked up on a lot of great innovative products too. Things like the vehicle safe and chamber lock. Whatever you're looking for, all of their gear is designed to keep you prepared and protected. Whatever you're looking for, they got it at Stopbox. By the way, the holidays just got a lot safer and a whole lot more affordable. Right now, for a limited time only, our listeners are getting a crazy deal, really. Not only do you get 10% off your entire order when you use the code STW10 at stopboxusa.com, but they're also hooking you up with a buy one, get one free for their Stopbox Pro. That's right, 10% off and a free Stopbox Pro when you use the code STW10 at stopboxusa.com. That's stopboxusa.com, and the promo code is STW10. We know that allegedly through the years, people have suggested, a John Cena heel turn. And once upon a time, I think the narrative was out there that Vince would say, we can't do that. That man feeds us. So when you see Hulk Hogan turn heel on WCW, how do you think Vince received that? Like when he turns and drops the leg and now he's a bad guy, and the next time we see him, he's in black and white. Do you think Vince thought that would work? Or did he think it was a missed opportunity? Did he think it was a mistake?
Well, he didn't like it. He didn't like it from this vantage point. He felt that it was killing everything that had been created already, and that it was kind of shitting on the legacy of Hulk Hogan. And while that's true, I think that what they were doing was they were creating another layer to that legacy of Hulk Hogan. And I think that layer made him last all that much longer. It's funny because a lot of people just thought, they couldn't have continued with Hulk in the red and yellow babyface that he was portraying then, because he was just another WWE guy.
Right.
He was the WWE guy. Now, to take the WWE guy and flip him on their programming to be the anti-WCW guy without saying WWE and create a new NWO, again, that was the building blocks and the layers that for all of those guys, for Hall and Nash too, that gave them new life. And again, I applaud that creative for the NWO. I thought that was great. It was a way to take something old and make it new. And it was very successful.
I do want to ask, when you think back on your time with Hulk in the golden era, did you ever hypothetically pitch one of those what ifs about Hulk Hogan turning heel?
About Hulk turning heel? Oh
Yeah.
God, yes.
Tell us one of
Yes.
those ideas back in the day.
It never got far. It never got far at all because Vince didn't like it. Vince did not want to turn Hulk heel, held Hulk in the highest of esteem, and felt that the audience would turn on us as a company if we had Hulk Hogan be a bad guy, because your sponsors, your partners, everything was Hulk Hogan. You can't. The ability to pivot as it is today didn't exist then. If you wanted to have a Hulk Hogan action figure, you had that planned out 9 months in advance. And that's how long it took to produce. It just, things moved much slower at that time. So the lead time was much more so than it is today. Today, come up with something and we can have a mock-up of it and have it up on Fanatics tonight and be selling it, and while it's in production.
Right.
And the production isn't 9 months, it's 9 weeks. So it was a different world. So it's kind of hard to compare apples to apples there. And Vince wanted to keep that purity of that character of Hulk Hogan. So, Pat and I throughout the years pitched different ways to turn Hulk heel. I know Hulk wanted to turn heel. There was a pitch going into WrestleMania 9, and it was debatable who would be the heel of having Dusty back and do, we never touch babies. And me and Hulk Hogan, who is the best?
What, you're talking in 93 here?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. This is actually kind of like right before Hulk left. Like, this was a pitch to, hey, don't go away and go on your sabbatical. What if we did this? And it was kind of like the battle of the legends, the battle of the two megastars, the two biggest heroes, Dusty being from WCW and obviously Hulk from WWE. And it was a story of Dusty. We ain't never touched, baby. I just want to touch you one time, so you could feel the dream. You can feel Stardust himself, and we'll get a little funky like a monkey. We're gonna have a little fun. But when we leave there, Hulkamania won't be running wild no more, because everybody gonna be living the American dream. And they're going to know that's all there is to believe in. So that was it was a pick'em in a lot of ways. But Dusty and Hulk both felt that the other, that each one of them should be heel, felt that they would be the heel in that scenario, which I loved.
It's hard to imagine either guy in that era as a heel, right?
Yes, but again, it's, as I've said so many times before, a WWE fan who only watches WWE.
Right.
I don't know what the hell they're doing on WCW.
Right.
The folks that listen to us and watch other things and do all of that, they're great. They're very educated. They know everything else that's going on. The majority of people don't. And they sure as hell didn't then. They were either WCW fans or they were WWE fans. Dusty had been in both by that time. Hulk had not. And Hulk, I think Hulk at this particular time, because I might have said, this is a pick'em, because as an audience member, I don't know who I'm rooting for, and I didn't care. but I cared about the match. So I think Vince and Hulk both felt that put Hulk in a precarious situation because he wasn't the definitive hero.
Well,
So,
and there was a big ask because Dusty was still in WCW at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah,
And he
he
hadn't
was.
been wrestling for a while. Now, he did
Right.
come back and do the mixed tag with Dustin, and he had a bunch of matches after that. But
And this was using Dustin in this. This was the whole buggy whip arm thing and all that stuff. This was to use Dustin.
Okay, I got you. So it launches Dustin, but we attach Dusty and Hogan's involved.
I mean, yeah, I'm talking, huge pie in the sky.
Yeah.
What I thought would be a pitch that could hook Hulk into going. I knew he always wanted to work with Dusty. I knew he loved Dusty. And I thought, okay, if I can get him to buy into this, how we get there is we get there with Dustin.
Right.
He does the heavy lifting. And it just didn't work. It just didn't do it. And I think that after WrestleMania 9 and all of that Hulk felt that he wasn't loved here anymore and wanted to move on to other pastures.
I mean, they had worked together over in Japan, but that was like before
not a program.
Hogan. Right. That was, just matches, and long before Hogan was Hogan. I do remember there being a discussion on Logan Paul's podcast where Hulk Hogan suggested, hey, what if he turned heel after WrestleMania 6? Do you remember that? After the Warrior thing?
Maybe he wanted to.
What can you tell us about that? And why didn't that happen?
Because he was going to have a movie coming out and nobody wanted to mess with the movie.
I got you.
So you needed the baby. You had to have the baby face is the movie star. But Hulk, without a doubt, Hulk wanted to turn on Warrior that night at WrestleMania 6. Want to drop the title and turn on him all in the same night. But Hulk felt, all right, hey, let me turn heel. And, Vince didn't see it and convinced him, especially with the movie coming out, with everything else happening, that he needed to remain a babyface. There was also a waning. The audience had started, the pops weren't as loud and what have you going into the Warrior match. But I'll tell you this, coming out of the Warrior match, the reaction and the pops were louder, longer, better than they ever were. It's insane.
The movie you were referencing there is Suburban Commando. Of course, we know that wound up coming out in 2001. But if we go back, the first foray into movies, not Rocky, but I'm saying once he's really established as Hulk Hogan, is, of course, No Holds Barred. And I think that's interesting because you start in April of 87. You forge this relationship with the Hulkster.
The movie, only on pay-per-view.
And then a year later,
Christmas, you could have a No Holds Barred Christmas.
Little OG STW here for you today. I want to ask you about 88 because 88 is going to be when Hogan's going to take some time off to go film the movie. So we're going to establish the Macho Man as the world champion. He's going to leave WrestleMania 4 winning a tournament concept, something they never tried again at WrestleMania. Yeah, no doubt. And you're giving the rub as much as you can from Hulk Hogan to the Macho Man. And what follows that is one of the greatest storyline arcs in wrestling history. I mean, I think I would put the Mega Power story up there with Austin and McMahon as far as just all-time great, put us on the map. Do I have that right? Like, is it 1A and 1B to you, or would it be something else?
Oh, without a doubt. I think it was one of the greatest thought out stories. And the beauty of it was we were telling you this story for over a year and you didn't even realize what story we were telling you at the time until they exploded. And then when we went back to show you all the beats in the story, it was like, I remember that. The talent didn't even 100% know. production didn't know. Nobody knew what we were doing along the way. We would tell the talent what to do. We would tell production how to shoot it. But they didn't know what they were really getting when they did it. So it was simple as Hulk putting Liz on Randy's shoulder, steadying her with the hand. Hulk, staring too long at the title. Just little nuance things that we'd say, get a close up of Hulk's face, and Hulk would give us a look. I think that watching it in the moment, you got to look.
Yeah.
But when you take it, and it was, I know I've talked about this before, but one of the best storytelling mechanisms that I truly love is there was a show on Showtime, and again, this is what we did in 1988, 89.
Oh, I already know where you're going with this.
The Affair.
Yeah.
And you had the first part of the show starts off from the husband's standpoint. The second part of the show is from the mistress's standpoint. The exact same scenes, but from different points of view. And all the same things happened, but it was how the other one saw it. So it was exactly what we did there. It was Randy Savage saw one thing, lust in your eye, right there, brother. And Hulk was like, brother, she was so jacked up, I had to keep her steady and make sure she didn't fall off your shoulder. So, it all made sense. Nobody was right, nobody was wrong. Or everybody was right, nobody was wrong. But Randy's jealousy took it to the next level. So it was, I thought the story was beautifully told, beautifully done. And it was a long-term story that now people started paying more attention to the nuances, where if you see a look, man, you're wondering what that look means. If you see something errant that, was that supposed to happen? You wonder. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just innocent. Who knows? But if we can go back and tell that story and help tell that story in a better way, then let's go.
How do you think Hulk Hogan got along with Randy Savage in that era? I know they had problems later, but they had such a great run as the Mega Powers. I think about a year and a half, and then they feuded for roughly another year. So there's like a 2.5 year run here where those two are peaches and cream. I mean, they're synonymous. They're salt and pepper. And then something changed. How was their personal relationship during that 2.5 years?
I think it was good. It was good. They traveled together. They did things together. Yeah, it was good. It was, Randy knew his role. Randy knew that he was the successor in that situation, but also knew that he was going to hand that title back and go a different route, go back to what, in his mind, what he was more comfortable doing. That was being a heel. So they got along great. And, after, I think things didn't sour until after Elizabeth was off the road, and, Randy and Elizabeth weren't together all the time. And that's when things kind of went crossways.
I do want to ask, we've talked a little bit about this with regard to other talent, but clearly as far as star power goes, established mainstream crossover, Hulk Hogan's number one and Macho Man's probably number two at that point. Don't you think?
Yes.
If there was no Hogan, like if Hogan had not been in the WWF and he just decided I'm going to play bass or whatever, would Savage have been in that spot, or did Savage need the rub from Hogan? No disrespect to Savage. I'm just asking your opinion.
Well, I think it would have gone back to how Randy was brought in, the whole 9 yards. Randy could have gotten there, but if there is no Hogan, then are you fighting harder for a Dusty Rhodes? Or you're fighting harder for somebody else to be that Hulk Hogan? And I don't think that you would have been fighting for Randy Savage at that point in time, because Randy was having to prove himself coming in. Randy was an outlaw. Nobody wanted to touch Randy. Vince took him in and gambled on him. Every promoter in the country would tell you, you don't want to touch Randy Savage. Don't touch those poffos. But Randy proved himself, and Randy proved what kind of a warrior he was, and got in there and made it work. So, but in the beginning, I don't know that there was a trust factor there. There wasn't. There certainly wasn't a track record, for Randy. And Randy had worked independence, and Randy had started to work in Memphis, but his reputation was not great. So I don't think it would have been Randy. And you look back and you think of some of those guys. Would it have even been a superstar Billy Graham tried to bring him back into it? Would it have been a Putski? Would it have been a Tito Santana? Jimmy Snuka could have been in there. And frankly, probably during that time, maybe they would have fought harder for Sergeant Slaughter. There were a lot of people in the running in that. And I think of people in the WWE at the time. I think Sarge probably would have been at the forefront to say, no, we got to get Sarge and make Sarge the guy. Because Sarge was, people discount how hot Sergeant Slaughter was during that time. Man, he was unbelievable, just mega babyface. Snuka, good God. Jimmy was unbelievable. And, but Snuka couldn't be relied on. Sarge could have been. Sarge absolutely could have been the guy. But the whole G.I. Joe thing, that kind of blew up, and that didn't work. So it's a lot of variables. But if Hulk hadn't done it, yeah, Sarge could have been a great guy to be the first one to start there.
All right, man. I love my Ridge, and you're going to love your Ridge too. And especially if you've got somebody in your life who's hard to buy for, maybe you've seen them. It's an uncle, it's a grandfather, it's a guy at work, and they're all sitting on a giant crusty leather brick. Not only is it probably falling apart, hell, it could be messing up their freaking back. Their lower back probably hurts from sitting on a brick all day. You're sitting uneven. Why wouldn't you get a safer, more unique, slimmer, modern wallet from Ridge? And by the way, Ridge has just hooked us up. They've been perfecting the wallet for 12 years, and now they've created the Ridge 2.0. They've somehow made the Ridge even better. It's 10% lighter, and it's made with more modular improvements like improved cash straps, money clips, and AirTag attachments. They've got a cooler surface design now with tonal logos and matching stuff like the cash straps that are plated. I want to also recommend that these are all made out of premium materials. The one I really like is carbon fiber. That's the one I've rocking. I've seen guys here in the office with titanium or aluminum. To each his own. Either way, it's premium materials. I love my Ridge 2.0. I know you will too. And check this out. Did you know the Ridge 2.0 can hold up to 12 cards plus cash? Did you know they've got over 50 colors and styles to choose from? Did you know that they've got every NFL, every MLB, and every college team? Yeah, it's perfect for holiday gifting, especially for that guy who's hard to buy for. We've all got one of them. But Ridge right now is even having their biggest sale of the year. I should mention too, this is the last wallet they or you will ever need. They've got an unbelievable industry-leading built-for-life warranty. So even if your wallet is lost or stolen, they've got you covered. I never even heard of anybody else doing that. That's crazy. All of the Ridge wallets also have RFID blocking technology that'll keep you safe from digital pickpocketers. And they're not just about wallets over there at Ridge. They've got all your premium everyday carry essentials, things like key cases, suitcases, and their game-changing power banks. They all have this really cool design. I think you'll dig it. You just got to take a look to see. But I want to just give you a little peace of mind. Losing your wallet is the worst, but with the Ridge tracker card, You'll always know exactly where it is before panic mode kicks in. This is a perfect gift for someone, and it also gives you the gift of peace of mind, especially if you got some holiday travel coming up. Listen, I could brag about Ridge all day, but don't just take my word for it. Go check them out. They've got over 100,000 5-star reviews, and that's proof that Ridge is a gift that people actually love to receive. And right now, for a limited time, Ridge is having their biggest Black Friday sale I've ever heard of. Head on over to ridge.com. That's RIDGE.com. You'll get up to 47% off your order. That's by far the biggest discount they've given all year, and I think the biggest one I've ever seen. That's ridge.com for up to 47% off your order. It's their biggest sale of the year. And after you purchase, they're going to ask you what you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. That's RIDGE.com, ridge.com. Why do you think that Hogan Savage pairing was so magical to fans? I mean, it is a different era. It's the 80s era where you've got buddy cop movies and you've got super action stars like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is this almost like wrestling's version of those two characters coming together, or what is it that makes it click so well?
I think they were the odd couple in a lot of respects. They were just different, but yet both had this incredible magnetism that it just oozed charisma, that it was like the opposites attracted. They came right together. I mean, as opponents or as friends. And it was logical. I think the audience got it. They go, okay, yeah, I can see that. So the audience did it. That really wasn't something that anybody had in the cards early on, I don't think. Just
who all involved in that storyline? I mean, obviously Hogan and Savage are giving their input. They've earned that right. I know Vince, you, and Pat. Is there anybody else that we've not acknowledged who deserves some credit as being an unsung hero in that whole storyline?
For the Mega Powers and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much it at that time. And that was primarily Vince and Pat and Hulk and Randy. And now, I was involved because of, the TV, and just so I got involved in ideas of how to tell the stories once everything was decided upon, and made sure that those happened, made sure we told those stories correctly.
We've never tried to do it here on the show, but one of my favorite parts of that story is the silly, exaggerated handshake, brother. You want to try to do a Mega Powers handshake here on the show?
You gotta go the other way.
Yeah, go the other way. Okay. Well, you got to come the other way.
I'm going right at you. And you
no.
gotta get yours. Yes.
No. Use your other hand. Go the other direction.
Because then we're going the same way.
Yeah, we're gonna shake hands.
No, now we meet here and shake hands.
No.
Just like you do it. Look, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. Yeah, Silva. Yeah,
I'm putting my hand to your screen. My hand is in you right now.
My hand's in you right now.
You can't even see I'm working you like a puppet, you sumbitch.
Oh, you're ready. That's why you're happy right now.
Why are you moving your hand like that? It looks weird. Don't use your hand like that. That looked weird. Let's move on. We may need to take a break here. Did you know they were going to milk that the way they did, or are they just performers and they hear the audience and they just milk and milk and milk and that's it?
Hey, look at you! Look at the two people you're talking about.
Yes,
it's going to happen.
Are you guys cracking up in the backstage area when you're seeing this? This has to be something.
Loving it, man, loving it. And again, it was things, dude. Both of those guys were such great pros. And being in the ring with either one of them, man, if you just shut up and listen, they'll get you through it, and it'll be great. But the beauty about both of them is as intense as Randy was, and I'm sure people come out, Randy had to write down everything. No, he didn't. And he was intense. Randy could also be one of the most calming people when he was in his element in the ring. Hogan controlled everything in the ring. All right, slow down, brother. Easy. We got this. All right, hang on, man. Let's ask him over here. What do you think? I'm going to kill him. Hold on, brother. Gonna and go all four corners on you're in, and inside you're feeling like, oh my God, I'm dying here, I'm dying here. And it just gets bigger and bigger, and then you relax and you get in the moment, and it's then you make it movies, baby. You make it movies. We just starred in our own motion picture.
You know, a lot of people, when they're asked to do public speaking or speak in front of an audience, or they're going to be on camera, they're going to be on the radio or whatever it may be, they'll get in their head a little bit. They'll get anxious. Their heartbeat will change. They'll get dry mouth. They'll start speaking faster. They just get uncomfortable. What you just described sounds like Hulk Hogan, the real life Terry Bollea, was very, very comfortable in the ring. Fair to say?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. He's home.
Yeah.
It's home. And you can always tell, man, when somebody gets into the ring. And I watch people just getting into the ring a lot, and how they do it and what they do when they're in it. You see the guys that will get in the ring and just kind of like lay on the mat and get in the corner and sit in the ring and just watch, get up, pull themselves up on the ropes, and just, they're at home. Walk around, there's no apprehension, there's no nothing. Then you watch people that get in and they're nervous and they trip and they're sitting around and everything's rigid and, oh my God, I'm going from here to here. The ring should be your living room. You should be as comfortable in the ring as you are in your living room. And then everything else will come easy. And walking into the ring with someone like Hulk Hogan, it's his living room. So it's up to him to make you comfortable and invite you in and entertain you while you're there. So it was a learning process, but it was a fun process. I loved working with Hogan. I mean, it was now 1, 2, I don't know, 3, 4, 5. I mean, just in my inner and outer office here, so many pictures of us together.
Yeah.
And in the ring, out backstage, all that stuff. And I was really disappointed when he passed, and I asked for some candids, and they had very few of Bruce and Hulk. There's a lot of brother love in Hulk.
Right.
But just so few Bruce and Hulk. And I was like, damn. Because I know of the things that we did, and I know there are pictures that exist somewhere that we had fun when he, oh my God, that was in Houston, when I believe that may have been the Paul Bosch retirement show. Me interviewing Hulk, and very first time that I'm doing play-by-play in Houston, and I'm doing the interviews and what have you, and first time I'm working with Hulk Hogan, which is just absolutely insane to me. And 24 years old, God, I look the same though. Look at that, the way, okay. He made me comfortable. He made me feel at home. He calmed me down, because, man, I was shaking like a dog shitting peach seed. And just talking about anxiety, you talking about fear, stage fright, I was terrified that night. But he always calmed you down. And as years went on and everything, and when he came back in the 2000s and everything, and I did pretty much all of his creative at that point. And I was the liaison, and I was the guy that dealt with him on a day-to-day basis. And we came up with, the whole Mr. America stuff and all that wonderful crap. But we had fun doing it.
And then later on when he came back as Hollywood Hogan, and that was actually before that, but we had fun. And for his cameos when he would come back, he would always come in, brother. Um, when he did a signing at a place in Friendswood, Texas, I was at the movies in Friendswood, and I come out of the movie and there's a big sign that says Hulk Hogan signing today. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I just walked down. There's a big courtyard area, and I walked down. As I walked down, people are in line out in the courtyard, and people start seeing me, and asking me for autographs and pictures and shit. And I'm walking by now. I'm on the outside of the courtyard. Hulk is in deep in the store, and the guy comes out and says, "Hey, excuse me." He goes, "Bruce, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Because Hulk would love to say hello." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So stopped the line and went in, and we sat and talked for a while and all this stuff. And then I think we had a beer that night. But it was just that, and we had been away from each other for a while. We worked together at TNA. It was, you know, it was fun. In later years, when he would come in, he had so many back surgeries there at the end. He shrunk. I think he shrunk a total of 5 inches, maybe. Um, but every time I'd see him, I never forget, in Philadelphia, we're standing there and we're almost eye to eye. And I said, "Terry, you shrunk." "Yeah, brother, my back and my neck." And uh, so I would take pictures. I like to take pictures of the two of us together backstage and everything. And then because I would tell him, "Yeah, I'm watching how much taller I'm getting. I'm not telling him you're shrinking. I'm growing." And the last time that we were together in L.A., and he looked at me and goes, "I know what you're doing here, brother." And I said, "Just take the picture." Because I've got pictures in my office where I'm standing there, I'm looking up at him like this. It's like, oh my God. And then I'm almost at eye level with him there towards the end, and it was crazy, but it was, you know, he had good natured about it, and could laugh at it, but yeah, it was insane.
I want to spend a little bit of time talking about you working with him as Brother Love. I'll admit, as a young wrestling fan, that was my first introduction to you. I hated you as a kid. Not much has changed.
Thank you.
But I loved the
Double
execution as an adult of the earthquake angle. And you did a lot of angles with Hulk Hogan, and told a lot of stories on the Brother Love show, and you were involved in a lot of really cool things. But I think it was as the Brother Love character and working with Hulk Hogan that you scratched off something off almost any performer's bucket list in New York City, right?
Oh my God, dude! You know, first of all, to be in the ring, and think about it. When I started Brother Love, I was 25 years old, and I got to main event Madison Square Garden with a Brother Love show. My guest Hulk Hogan in Nassau Coliseum. We did my favorite story of talking about selling out Nassau Coliseum was they had one attraction on top wasn't doing well at all. I think we were at 30% the week out, and being on the phone. Hulk was on the phone with Vince and talking about coming to Connecticut. He said, "Oh, you gonna be in town next week?" So yeah, "Oh, you could do NASA." And he says, "No, no, 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 I can't get in the ring, and I'm not in any kind of shape." He goes, "No, no, no." He goes, "We'll just do something with you." Brian, I'm sitting in the office, and so I'm speaking. He goes, "Brother Love's sitting in front of me. We can do a Brother Love show." He goes, "Oh, that I could do." So this was on a Thursday. I went home, got my Brother Love stuff, went to the studio, cut promos to air that Saturday and Sunday in the New York market. And the following Saturday, the show was on Saturday night, the following Saturday. So had 3 shots at promos. Couldn't get Hulk. And we sold that son of a bitch out. I sold it out. I was on top. Now, Hulk hadn't been in the market in something like, I don't know, 9, 11 months or something like that. But I sold it out. And Hulk Hogan was my guest. But we went out and did that. But the beauty of it, there were times when Hulk would get bored on his time off and say, "Hey, guy, can you, I want to do something, but I don't really want to work." He goes, "Can you just book me with Brother Love and we'll just, go do some gaga, I'll beat him up, bounce him around the ring and all that stuff." So we would go, man, and headline shows. The return of Hulk Hogan on the Brother Love show. And we would go in the ring and I would do my thing with him, and boom, I would take the ass whooping, I would take the finger point, I would throw 3 punches, get him blocked, bam, boom, slam, boom, fuck you, leg drop, boom, got it, bang, at your chase, and boom. Hogan must pose. It was great because you could be in Chicago one night, and the next night, like they may be in Oshkosh or Milwaukee or something, he would skip that. And we'd go to LA for the next night. So I'd have a day off in LA with him, and we would just party and chill out and everything. And then you do LA. And then maybe go up and do San Francisco, and then take like a day or 2 off, and then go do Dallas, and then go do Houston, and then take another day or 2 off, and then go. It was great. I loved it. And he would think of me in those kind of things. Like, let's go. He knew I wanted to get out of the office. And if Hulk asked for it, by God, Vince would accommodate. So that was a good thing. And I had a lot of fun doing that. He was in the very beginning. So I started Brother Love when Hulk was off doing No Holds Barred, I think.
That's right.
And when he came back, he said, he came in the studio and he says, "Brother," and he says, "you have the kind of heat that I just want to take a shotgun to." I said, "That's good." He says, "That's dangerous." He says, "No, seriously, man." He goes, I hated it, and I have a hard time getting through to you in that character. Andre was the same way. They hated the character, hated it, blasphemous, hated it, until we got to work together, and they saw the heat. And with Hogan, God, it was so easy. It was just so easy. That there was just, you're just out there dancing, and it's fun, and it's what the business should be. Because we're playing around. I never know what's going to come out of his mouth. He never knew what was going to come out of mine. And we would just do shit. And we knew where we wanted to end up. We had a really good idea of, okay, this is where this is going to go. And we need to end up here. I'll get you there. You have the out, and let it play out. And I would be terrified of later years of doing that with talent that would need to have everything written down for them. I don't think I could have done that. But with Hulk, you didn't have to. You just went out. He followed me, and I followed him.
Hey, real quick, got a quick question for you. Do your balls stink? I bet they do. And I bet they wouldn't if you had Mando. You see, Mando is whole body deodorant that's safe to use anywhere on your body. It was created by a doctor who saw how body odor was just being misdiagnosed, and it's been clinically proven to stop odor before it even starts. You can even choose from a great variety of fresh scents, things like bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or even Pro Sport. It's clinically proven to do a better job controlling odor than just a shower with soap alone. And they've got all the different versions of this you could want. The solid stick deodorant, the spray deodorant. They've even got a new stick with, and I can't believe this is real, sweat control. Dude, go check it out. You'll be so glad you did. you're going to go ahead and get the Mando starter pack. I think it's perfect for new customers. It comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes. You'll even get free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers can get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Just use the code STW at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness.
And we went to the promised land, if you will.
You know, we saw Hulk Hogan, help establish Brother Love. He established Earthquake. He established Randy Savage as a tippy top guy. And he certainly did his best with Warrior. And I think everyone agrees that experiment wasn't exactly as a lot of people would have hoped. What did Hulk Hogan think of transitioning to the Warrior? You mentioned earlier that, he liked the idea of turning heel. Did he have confidence that the Warrior could take the torch that Hulk Hogan had been carrying for the WWF?
Hulk was willing to try, and Hulk was willing to do whatever it took to get Warrior over. I don't think that he had total confidence that it was going to work because he didn't feel that Warrior was fully vested and that he was in it he really didn't like the business and didn't care, where Hulk was kind of a lifer and loved the business. So that was always the rub with Warrior. Warrior was in it for the money and just was what he was. But Hulk was like, no, man, we'll do everything we can to get this guy over. And he did, but I don't think that, the experiment didn't work. Hulk kind of wanted to turn heel. Then I think a little bit of when after the Hulk had dropped the title, Hulk was nervous going out in front of a live crowd the first time.
Really?
Very. Because he thought that he was a failure. He thought that they would see him. He lost the title. And I dare say the Pops were bitter after that. They wanted him to win so bad.
Well, that's what we used to sort of launch Earthquake. Was the idea simply, like it had worked before? Hey, we need a heel factory. Let's establish a new monster heel and make him a real viable threat to Hulk Hogan, and we'll help make a guy in John Tenta.
Absolutely. Big formidable opponent standing in front of you. You looked at him, it was a mountain to climb. Those are hard to find.
So we know that, it's a magnificent angle as a little kid. I know people necessarily don't love the Earthquake angle now, but I got to tell you, as a kid at the time, they were aiming that programming for me and it hit in a big way. And I still remember one of the all-time great video packages. There was like a sad instrumental version of Real American.
I'm a real American. Fight for the... And then it went into just horns. Yeah, awesome. Little girl holding her Hulk teddy bear and crying.
Yes. And then Hogan's locker being slammed shut. Like, who helped put that together? Is that all Bruce Prichard, or is there somebody else involved in it?
Yes.
It was fantastic, dude.
Yeah, you put hang his little shit in there, the cross on them.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a miracle.
Really, really well done. I do want to ask about something that I think fans saw for the first time. We've heard, as the story goes, that John Cena has granted more Make-A-Wishes than anyone in history. But one of the records he broke along the way had to be Hulk Hogan's. And in the days after he passed, the WWE Vault started uploading a lot of this footage that we as fans never saw. There was a fascinating Make-A-Wish visit filmed from January of '87. They were in Tacoma, and I think actually KOMO TV in Seattle may have actually posted it on YouTube, but you can type it in and maybe we'll tweet it out of our show account too. But you got to see the way Hulk interacted with some of these young kids, and these kids are in the battle of their life and their parents are there, and Hulk Hogan is their superhero. He's their He-Man. He's their Superman. And they're so excited to meet him. And I feel like that is the first time a lot of fans got to see the real life Terry Bollea, not Hulk Hogan, because he's out of character. I mean, not really out of character, but he's joking about his receding hairline, which is something a babyface on WWF TV would never be. And you could just tell that it was the impact on that family and that young person was not lost on Terry. I'm sure you saw a ton of that stuff. What can you tell us about some of his charity work through the years?
Well, Hulk loved kids, and Hulk understood the impact that he had with his fan base, and especially young children. Now, a young child who is suffering from a horrible disease like cancer, and the magnitude of the one wish, the one thing that they are asking for is to meet their idol, Hulk Hogan. And that was never lost on Hulk. That was the responsibility of that. And not just the child, but the child's family, and how they were all looking and just hoping to give that child some hope, some joy, a magical moment in time that they can hold on to for however long they have to hold on. And I don't think that was ever lost on Hulk. He looked at it as a responsibility, an honor that they chose him. And that's a heavy burden. I know some guys who viewed them as very difficult to do and didn't want to do them because mess with their own head, and I can't handle it. Handle it. You know what I mean? It's an honor. It's an honor to do that, to give them hope, to give them a moment in time that is something that they have asked for, that they just want to feel. They just want to feel it. And Hulk was the master at that, and was able to go in and become, let them see Hulk Hogan, but also let them see that Hulk Hogan was no different than them. And as Terry, he was there for them.
Well, we absolutely loved seeing that footage, like the real life Terry Bollea interacting with these kids. You can tell how much it meant to them. And we know what it meant to the WWF and later WCW and just wrestling fans as a whole. I mean, he's probably one of the most famous people of Americana in the 1980s. I mean, it feels like it's Hulk Hogan and Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson and Mike Tyson. And I mean, he was a pop culture icon. It's hard really even to wrap your head around because media's changed so much. I mean, does he have an equal as far as worldwide fame besides The Rock, perhaps?
Well, at one time, Hulk Hogan was the most recognizable celebrity in the world. There was Hulk Hogan and Mother Teresa, the people you show them pictures and that were alive, that they knew who they were. So, people all scoff at that. That was real. Fu Manchu, the blonde hair, the Hulkamania shirt. It was, people knew who Hulk Hogan was. They may not be fans, may not have followed his career or knew that he slammed Andre the Giant or got squashed by the earthquake, but they knew who Hulk Hogan was. He was an icon. He was an American icon. One time he was called the greatest American export. So it's, again, man, he was larger than life, and the first in that genre, to be able to come out and to be able to cross over into Hollywood, cross over into pop music and be that mega star. And yeah, Hogan was the man.
We know he comes back in 2002 as a part of the NWO angle. That doesn't last very long. Fans clamor for the red and yellow. He gets one last world title run. He has a tag title run with Edge. He did the Mr. America stuff, but it also feels like this era, we start to think about more of the love-hate relationship with him and Vince, or the hokey pokey nature of their relationship. Did that start in 90, 91, 93, or was it much later, if you had to guess?
I think people would say it started 1986 or 84, whenever the hell they, got back together. I just think it was always there. The other thing that was always there was the mutual respect and love for one another as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was on again, off again. It was hot, it was cold. But one thing that never wavered was the respect and the love for one another. There was never a time ever that I know of, at least on Vince's end, that he said, "I'm not going to talk to that guy. I have no desire." And I don't know on Hulk's side. I was with Hulk, in TNA, and Hulk always spoke glowingly of Vince.
Right.
Just how much he loved him, and how, always that's who he wanted to work with. So yeah, it was a love-hate relationship, but I think that it was the emphasis was on the love. I actually don't even know there was ever any really hate,
Right.
but it could be contentious at times, and usually all over money.
We know in 1992, that WrestleMania, and I know you weren't there, they closed sort of the go home show and marketing as this might be Hulk Hogan's last WrestleMania, that sort of thing. It wound up not being the case, but it does feel like revenues were starting to fall in 92. Do you think that maybe led to sort of the blame game? Like Hogan thought Vince wasn't doing enough to keep the company hot, and maybe Vince thought, well, the shine is off of you, pal, and we're not drawing more. And you said it's based on money, but is it based on, does that relationship ever falter if the business continues to grow? Do you need a lull in the business before that sort of blame game starts?
Well, it depends on what blame game you're talking about, and who's blaming
Financial
who.
frustrations, I guess.
I think that the just the sheer fact of business going down and not having a commitment from Hulk, because Hulk didn't want to work all the time. Hulk did want to go and had Hollywood calling and offering him other projects, specifically Thunder in Paradise, that he wanted to do. Like, hey, man, I could be a Baywatch star type thing. So those carrots being dangled all the time, it makes it tough to say, hey, you want to do Poughkeepsie next week? So there were other things that were involved in that made it difficult to navigate those waters. But you have to take care of your backyard. You have to take care of your home, and recognize these things, and it's going to happen. You can fight it all you want, but it's eventually going to happen, and it always does. It can be the greatest thing in the world, but then, eventually it's not the greatest thing in the world, and something greater comes along, or so you think.
The first episodes of Monday Night Raw, the ones that are happening in the Manhattan Center, that we did see Hulk Hogan in that environment. But I remember even as a kid thinking, hey, this feels weird. Like, for whatever reason, Hulk Hogan in a more studio style setting, a smaller, more intimate venue, just didn't seem to fit the Hulk Hogan character or brand that I had grown up with. Do you think Hulk enjoyed a more intimate audience, or did it feel foreign to him too at that point?
No, I think the entire thing was foreign, because it was shoehorning Beefcake into a story because Hulk wanted to do something for Beefcake.
I gotcha.
And I think that is really what overshadowed everything. It was a shoehorn story to get Hulk into WrestleMania, and for Hulk to get Beefcake on the thing, be recognized and be in a meaningful program. I think the story kind of dictated the reactions and everything there.
We can't help but notice in more recent years, it seems like nostalgia for professional wrestling, certainly with guys like Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, is bigger than ever. You know, Hulk Hogan has multiple merch stores in multiple cities. He's got restaurants. He's got a beer. Now he's got Real American Freestyle. I think they're about to open a bar across the street from Madison Square Garden. So the Hulk Hogan brand is bigger than ever. Did you envision this sort of resurgence and interest in Hulk Hogan years after he was finished in the ring, or did you kind of always expect this was where it would be?
I truly never thought Hulkamania would die.
Yeah.
I think that with nostalgia, that the young folks, there's always a point where they look back on what came before them and go, hey, that's cool, man. That's cool. And Hulk Hogan was always Hulk Hogan. He became a different aspect of his character, but he kept the Fu Manchu and he still was Hulk Hogan. So to that nostalgia, to a whole different audience, who I kept getting reminded last night as I was watching SummerSlam with people who hadn't even been born yet. So yeah, there's a whole new just generation of fans that love Hulk Hogan just based on the nostalgia. So yeah, I mean, it's strong enough. And I think that you look at Stone Cold Steve Austin, you look at The Rock, you look at Shawn Michaels, John Cena, there are fans that were not born when they were in their biggest heyday, and they love them all that much more. It's crazy.
I never thought we would talk about this on the show, but I mean, I really can't believe I'm even going to ask this, because it's a question. We've talked about Hulk Hogan on so many episodes together here, Bruce, and we've talked about this same question with so many others. And for some reason, I just never imagined I would ask it here. How did you get the news that Hulk Hogan had passed away?
So we had been hearing all the rumor and what have you, that we knew Hulk. I knew Hulk was having surgeries and things of that nature, but I don't think he minds. I was talking to Eric Bischoff, and Eric was keeping me up to date with what was going on with Hulk, and that a lot of the rumor and things that were being reported weren't necessarily 100% true. The night before, so we had heard that he was not doing well, and then he was doing well, then he was not doing well, then he was doing well. And I called Eric the night before Hulk's passing, and he was like totally optimistic and in great spirits, and said, that Hulk was feeling much better. He was out of the woods, that he turned the corner and was doing good. And man, you should reach out to him. Call him tonight. Text him because he can't really talk. And I sent him a text. Just said, sent wishes and prayers, and said love you, and that was it. Thinking about you, and Hulkamania forever, some kind of shit like that. And then fast forward to the next morning, Eric called me on my way into the office and said, Bruce, I just got word that they're taking Terry by ambulance to the emergency room, had cardiac arrest. I said, what the fuck happened between last night and now? And he says, I don't know. I'm trying to find out, but I know we talked last night, and he was out of the woods and what have you. Hung up. I called Paul Levesque, And while I was on the phone with Paul, this has all happened in real time. He says, "Hold on, Bruce," and he goes, "Hey, man, I just got a text that he's gone." I said, "What do you mean gone?" He says, "He passed." So he read me the text. He says, "Can you confirm that or deny that? Can you find out for sure?" So I called Eric back and told Eric. So Eric, while we're still on the phone, is trying to get a hold of people and everything. And I guess he got a hold of Vaughn or whoever he got a hold of, and or Nick or whoever. And he came back and said, "Bruce is gone." And I was like, wow. Called my wife, called one other person, and just told them, and it was, I guess I was in shock, best way to describe it. And because he was there, man, it's like one day you're there, one day you're not. And went into the office, and teams were all in one room. And I walked in the room, and I said, unfortunately, it's true, so I can confirm it. And I said, Hulk passed this morning. And then at that point, once I said it out loud, in a group of people and everything, that was the first time, that it hit me and that I cried and went back in my office, and I was like, because you walk into my office, and like the outer office, there's a picture of me and Hulk, and in my inner office, there's another big one of Hulk and I, and I'm just staring, and it didn't seem real. It just like had to be a mistake, right? And put on the news, and fucking every news, man, was headlines. So, then they had the footage of the ambulance and all that crap. And, all became real. But it sucked. And we started to, now you have to go into, what do you do now? Okay, you've got to figure out what's the show's going to look like. I think business. So you got to put that hat on and decide, what are we going to do? So I called in a couple people and said, all right, start thinking about this. And we gotta recognize, and we've got to do something that's worthy of him. And that's what we did.
When Luthez passed away, his wife famously said something like, "It never occurred to me that he would die." Did you feel that way about Hulk Hogan? Like, on some level, I think we all just assume, well, he's gonna, and I hate this phrase in this regard, but it works maybe better with him than anybody else. We all kind of thought he would kick out, right?
Yes. There are days that I forget.
Yeah.
Where it isn't real. You know what I mean? It's surreal. You're like, nah, man, I just talked to him. And yeah, it is. It's hard to believe. You just never thought he'd leave. It was just not real. Just not real.
We know the governor of the state of Florida would proclaim that August 1st would be known as Hulk Hogan Day in Florida. And earlier, or as you're listening to this, in October, it was announced that the Clearwater Walking Trail, the waterfront trail, would be known as the Hulk Hogan Trail. I mean, he left such an impact that the state of Florida is recognizing him. What do you think the man himself would want to be most remembered for?
I think that Hulk would want to be remembered for being a hero to millions. I think he would want to be remembered as a hero. I think that he would want to be remembered as a role model for the positive things that he did and that he stood up for. And I think it's that simple. I really do.
It was kind of a surreal day when we found ourselves at the Indian Rocks Church there, and it was a celebration of life of Hulk Hogan. They had beautiful arrangements of red and yellow flowers, and man, it was a who's who of professional wrestling. What can you tell us about your kind of surreal experience at your final goodbye for the Hulkster?
I hate funerals. Roddy Piper and I made a pact one day. We're not going to go to any more funerals. And I hit a spell there that I didn't. So it just, yeah, I nobody enjoys them. It's not their, it's funerals are for the ones left behind and for the family and the friends. And it was a beautiful service. And I thought that it remembered him the way that he would have wanted to be remembered. But yes, it's still surreal. It's still like you kind of think it's somebody else. You're waiting for him to walk through the door, and he's not. So it was, yeah, it was hard, man. We flew in and out same day, and got there late, unfortunately. And as we were walking in, they couldn't find the other folks' names on the list, and I stayed out there trying to get everybody else in, and but it was, yeah, as far as funerals go, it was a beautiful celebration of life. And I thought that the folks that spoke did a great job and kept it short and sweet, except for the damn minister. No. Yeah, I think Hulk would have been happy with that, but again, just too soon, just too early. I certainly wasn't ready, and I'm sure his family definitely was not ready for him to leave. And yeah, that's it, man. I just it was sad day. And you know me, I'm not at a loss for words a lot. And I was at a loss for words, you know. Felt so sorry for Nick, his son. And man, my heart goes out to his kids, and my heart goes out to his family. So, but Hulkamania will live forever, and it truly will. And I think in his passing, I think he will continue to grow each and every year, and the legend of Hulkamania will live on.
Well, there is no doubt about that. I do want to add some context to what you were saying a minute ago, because I know it sounds weird if you didn't get the context, but they had an approved list that you had to RSVP in advance, and that was necessary from a security standpoint, not only because, well, Terry Bollea was a celebrity and there may be a security issue, but you also had a member of the president's cabinet there. So there's going to be a lot of extra layers of security. It was kind of a surreal deal. And I have to say, I was kind of shocked because when I think about Hulk Hogan, I think about the little kid in me, the fan in me that fell in love with Hulk Hogan. And I know that character was really carefully crafted by both Terry Bollea and Vince McMahon. And when Vince came out on the stage, I don't know. I hadn't seen him there, so I didn't expect him. And then, man, what a fitting tribute he gave to ask people to give Hulk Hogan one last ovation, and then doing the cupping of the ears and the whole deal. No matter what's been written or what's been said about their relationship, the idea that Vince was there, and I just thought he hit it out of the park, and how fitting of a tribute that was that he gave for Terry Bollea. And then to put it all together, I don't know that everybody else has realized this, but the day Hulk Hogan passed is also when Vince had a car accident, according to TMZ. And the idea that the morning that the world finds out about Hogan's passing is also when Vince has a car wreck, and then he's there to eulogize him. It's just, man, they're connected somehow in the hearts and minds of so many fans and people in the business. I was just blown away with Vince's tribute to Hulkster that day. How about you?
I thought it was classy and the best tribute of the day.
Yeah.
Short, sweet, to the point, and said it all in so few words. And gave everybody the opportunity to let it out.
Yeah.
And that was the beauty of it.
Hulkamania will live forever, and hopefully so will something to wrestle. We're so glad to have you back, Bruce, after your long 6-day absence. Yeah. Excited that we're going to be back in the saddle on a regular basis again. Little peek behind the curtain. We're recording this in early October. We're going to get a few of these in the can. We got a commitment we're going to make here, right, Bruce?
Next week.
Every week, by God. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Duh. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why you're making a big deal out of it.
Now, here's the real question. Are you going to tell John, or am I? It'd be better if you asked him. It'd be better if you told John, because I feel like I'm cheating a little bit here today.
John who?
All righty. We'll see you next week right here on Something to Wrestle with Bruce Prichard.
That's me. Sometimes Jimmy Jam came along. Those were the best times. Now they're gone. Rock on.
Hey, just in time for the holidays, what if you didn't have to worry about any of that credit card debt? If you're feeling stuck making the minimum payments and you don't want to have to put Christmas on a credit card, we can help at savewithconrad.com. We routinely help our listeners save hundreds of dollars a month. Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com.